Hello everyone, my name is Chinggis Khan and my topic for today is global warming. I think it's not the first time you, like me, have heard about the topic of global warming. Every time we visit any place where information is transmitted, whether it's watching television, reading magazines, surfing the internet, we hear about this topic most often with gloomy forecasts for the future of our Earth. And inadvertently, we wonder, is it really that bad? As a resident of our planet, I'm very interested in its preservation. Like most of you, I lived as comfortably as I did, not paying attention to whether I was killing our planet or not. Exactly, until I got acquainted with this topic in more detail myself. And I realized that people have a direct impact on global warming. I would like to begin my talking with what is global warming is. First, I need to explain what the climate is and what the weather is. Weather refers to atmospheric conditions that occur locally over short periods of time, from minutes to hours or days. Familiar example includes rain, snow, clouds, and others. Climate, on the other hand, refers to the long-term, regional, or even global average of temperature, humidity, and rainfall patterns over seasons, years, or decades. But just global warming is a long-term heating of the Earth's climate system. It's gaining moment due to the burning of fossil fuels such as gasoline, kerosene, diesel fuel, and others. And secondary combustion products, that is smoke, causes an increase in greenhouse use gases trapping heat in the Earth's atmosphere. And now we will discuss the consequences of ignoring global warming. No matter how significant these minor changes in temperature may seem, they have weight in 8 degrees Fahrenheit. It may not sound like much, perhaps the difference between wearing a sweater and not wearing one on the early spring day, but for the world in which we live, which climate experts project will be at least 8 degrees warmer by 2100 should global emissions continue on their current path, this small rise will have grave consequences, ones that are already becoming apparently for every ecosystem and living thing, including us. And these consequences may be more frequent and severe, whether which occurs due to moisture retention in the atmosphere due to excess heat. And thus, wet areas become wetter and dry areas become drier. This means that there will be droughts that lead to problems with access to drinking water and frequent fires. It also means that there will be more frequent and heavy rains, causing floods that wash away the soil, drown households, crops, and people's houses. Still, wet environment is favorable environment for various parasites, polluted into the air of factors that can be unpleasant. This worsens the health of people suffering from heart or lung diseases. Do not forget that global warming also affects flora and fauna, and the question is whether it will have time to adapt so quickly to new temperature conditions. If not, it will lead to disruption of the food chain and the disappearance of hundreds of species of animals and plants. And if you live near the coastal reefs of the ocean, you will also be out of luck. After all, melting glaciers will raise the sea level by several feet by 2100, which will lead to flooding of a bunch of coastal cities. No matter how deplorable the situation may seem, everything can be changed, at least by starting with yourself. One of the most important steps I urge you to take is the transition to sustainable transport. It's evident that the present modes of transportation in many cities, including those in some developed nations, are unsustainable, and judging by the statement, we have something to strive for. One of the most important contributions on your part will be the transition to motorless vehicles. I understand that it's all individual and due to distance, physical capabilities, and weather conditions, but you need to try your best. Starting with the sustainable transport in the warm season, you need to use vehicles without a motor, such as bicycles, scooters, skateboards, rollers. You can also move on foot. In the cold season, you need to try to switch to public transport. Also, even if you use cars, the best option will be an electric car, taking into account that the energy for it was obtained in a green way. Or at the very least, at least buy a more recent model of convenient cars on combustion fuel, because there is almost no filtration in older models. When some methods to reduce emissions of harmful gases may seem trivial, some of them may be very unobvious. After hearing about this topic, you may wonder how food is related to global warming. When forests are cleared to make room for farms and livestock, this happens on a daily basis. In some parts of the world, large stores of carbon are released into the atmosphere, which heats up the planet. When cows, sheep, and goats digest their food, they burn up methane and other potent greenhouses, contributing to climate. Uh, also, uh, you don't have to be vegan. Like, it's not true. I swear, because you can just reduce the amount of beef, lamb, and cheese eaten, which cause the greatest harm to the earth. It can also be taken into account that beans, legumes, cereals, and soybeans are the rule the most climate-friendly options of all. And the last but not least important topic is the things that surround you at home. We will start with the air conditioning system in your home. It also consumes electricity like everything in your house. And in addition, there are also refrigerants in it. And if this refrigerant is allowed to escape in sufficient quantities, it will contribute to the deterioration of the background of global warming, as well as the destruction of one of the ozone layer. It all depends on the age of your air conditioners. The newer the air conditioners, the more modern technologies are used there, and accordingly less emissions. So don't skimp on the normal air conditioners. And this applies not only to air conditioners, but also refrigerators and freezers. And in order to be eco-friendly, it's better to take these devices for Energy Star certification. And now let's touch on the topic of lighting. Lighting contributes to a significant percentage of electricity consumption in your in your house, and replacing your most used bulbs to CFL ones can significantly reduce home electricity use and save you money, simultaneously making a positive impact on climate change. If every household in the United States exchanged 5 light bulbs for CFLs, it would reduce greenhouse gas emissions, such as removing 10 million cars from the roads. In conclusion of all I have said, there are many different methods to reduce harmful gases into the atmosphere, and many of them are not so critical as to ignore them. Thanks for your attention.